All right, Country Club Hills residents, I'm sitting here with Ramian and Tanya, and today we're going to talk about interview tips, do's and don'ts in relates to getting a job and securing a job. We're going to provide you with a lot of great information as regards to preparing a resume and those types of things. So let's just get right into it. Ramian, first, thank you so much for allowing us to come in and talk to you. Tanya, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so first question that I want to put out there is, how would you describe the condition of the job market now?
Well, it's you know, a lot of people would think of it as being on its last limb, so to speak. But I think it's just a matter of the economy being able to bounce back. It's not a recession, you know. It's not exactly the in the 30s that we had, you know, the whole Great Depression and everything like that. The economy, that's how America is. It changes, it switches, but it always adjusts. So I think even though there are a lot of markets that are suffering from the condition of the economy, there are still a few golden pieces that are surviving. So what we try to do is allow those companies to come to our school and provide opportunities for our students.
It's funny you should mention that too, because a question that may be in some of the viewers' minds is, what are some of those golden jobs or some of those good jobs that are probably more readily available than others given the economy and the trend?
Well, labor is always an option. A lot of people look at the health field, which is faring pretty well. Everyone wants to be a nurse or a doctor, things like that, but there are also wonderful opportunities for CNAs out there. Some students, when they go further in education to go get their nursing degree, they leave opportunities for nursing students, and so that's one opportunity. Also, technology is really booming these days. Any training, any certificates, any type of degrees, and website development, animations, things like that. And, you know, everything is done online now. Also, there's a lot being put into commercial these days. So anything involving technology is good also.
All right, so let's really get to the meat of our discussion, and really what it is these two things, obviously resume preparation and that whole process, and then the piece that involves the actual interview. Should you make it beyond the resume process and the application? So talk to me about some do's and don'ts in terms of completing your resume. You hear all kinds of things. Some people say if you use a different color paper, your resume will stand out. Or I've even heard some people spray it with perfume and a particular fragrance, so it'll stay. I mean, I've heard the gamut. So kind of set us straight in terms of what are some really good things to do and some things to avoid.
With resume, we'll start at the top and go all the way down. As far as contact information, first your heading, name, address, phone number, email address is one. A lot of companies are responding and sending messages out via email, so we want everyone to have a professional email address. If you don't have one, you can set up one free through Yahoo, Hotmail, first name, last name, at whatever domain is good, instead of, we don't want too many personal. We've seen some interesting resume email addresses there. You know, that can be a turn off to
avoid the nicknames and those kind of things. Got you.
As far as objective, something that's very specific towards what you're looking for. A lot of times we see people who want to use one type of resume to apply for different types of positions, and we want to kind of tailor it to the type of position that you would like to obtain.
In your opinion, Tanya, is it better to say references available upon request, or to actually provide references in your submission?
It depends on the job posting. Some postings will actually ask that you include the references. I personally am not a fan of references available upon request because it's kind of, if you don't have them, you won't get the job, so they know that you're going to have to provide them at some point if you make it further along in the job process.
That's very clear. Now, after you get the resume done and it's on point, and you get your cover letter and everything together, and you get an application to the company, and then you're called in for an interview. All right, so let's talk about that piece. Let's talk about some do's and don'ts and some ways to be prepared to participate in an effective interview.
Well, we've heard stories about individuals that would have an interview within the next hour, and they'll come in and ask us about a few tips.
Okay.
Which is kind of a bad way to go about it. You want to be prepared the day before.
Okay.
And what an extra day will allow is for preparation to view the site. If you have to travel, you can get a feel for the traffic, how long it's going to take you, so to make sure that not just on time, but early for the interview. You also want to make sure that you're clear in your speech. Okay. So you practice, most employers would ask, tell me about yourself. Okay. And you want to have at least a 30-second, little skit that you can talk to them about. Being comfortable with doing that also. Okay. Okay. Some other things you want to consider is having some resumes on hand when you go to the interview. That lets them know you're further prepared. You want to research whatever company you're applying for, so that at the end of the interview there's usually, do you have any questions for us? And you want to ask them about if there's a new development, some type of operation they have going on, so they see that you're also as interested in their company as they are in you. Okay.
Hey, here's a question for you. We're always looking for just the right thing to wear to an interview. The trend these days with casual Friday and other things in the workplace. Let's take, for example, what I'm wearing now. Would this be considered something appropriate? And I know it's relative to the job that I'm going for, but what's really a safe way to dress, a safe way to come to an interview?
I think it would be more business professional would be the way to go. Even if the office wears khakis and polos, better be overdressed than underdressed, and you want to come off professional until they give you that job, and then they disclose what the attire is in the workplace. So we're talking about a suit for men, prefer traditionally it's dark navy blue, dress shirt, tie, dress shoes, so neatly pressed, things like that.
So if I finished up like maybe a basketball game and just had on the jersey and the ball shorts, it probably wouldn't be appropriate.
Right. Now, in addition to the occasion of being underdressed, we don't want individuals to look like they're going to prom either. So you want to be modest. You do want to be modest but professional.
So none of the heavy cologne and all those things and kind of overdoing it, because that can be distracting, I would imagine, for the person's conducting the interview. And they're trying to talk to you and they're trying to peel through all this cologne and all this and that. So I can understand that.
There's a cologne that reminds them like of a bad ex experience or something like that.
Okay, well, great. I really appreciate you guys for being so clear, because although to you these may be, the obvious, there may be some people that are watching the program who really just aren't really clear on some of the steps to take, as we draw toward the interview process. I want to thank you guys so much for talking to us. Rami, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Tanya, thank you so much for joining us. And on behalf of Country Club Hills Television, I am Eric Booker.